Good Wednesday Pelham Road. Well, today, just a short time away from Christmas, I thought we'd give a little tour of Nativity art. Okay, so I've got a few pieces that I've saved on my computer here, and I'm going to try to use the screen share function and see if I can show you some of these, and we'll talk about these paintings. All right, let's see if I can get this right. We'll try at least. All right. This is the first one. This is called the Nativity 1523 by Lorenzo Lotto. I show you this first because it does what so many of the Child and Madonna or Holy Family paintings does. It foreshadows the coming death of Jesus. Look above. I'll tell you what, I'll just let you look around for it. Can you see something in this photo that foreshadows the life that Christ will live? Yes, you can. Over the right shoulder of Joseph, you'll see a crucifix on the wall. Now, these paintings were meant to be more inspiring than historical. I mean, Lotto was Italian. Let me take a good look at Mary. Mary does not look like a Jewish schoolgirl at all. She looks older than we might expect and more Irish than I remember. One concern that this painting actually captures quite well is the age difference between the holy couple. I mean, this Joseph looks to be about 20 years the senior of Mary, which is entirely possible and consistent with the biblical narrative. And I ask you to consider the expressions on their face. How would you describe their countenance? Just think about it. While I go to the archives here and see if I can pull up another. And this second one is from Raphael. He painted just a little earlier than Lotto. Now I show you this one because it is entirely different from all the other Madonna paintings prior to the 1700s. As I just showed you, most Child and Madonna paintings had some object in it that foreshadowed Christ's life. Maybe a cross, as you just saw. Sometimes they were just scattered nails around the room. But Raphael has happily ignored this tradition, and he paints a more traditional scene of a Mary happily playing with her child. Well, you know, you may doubt that Mary's happy there, but the child looks very curious. And so it's just to capture a moment between mother and son, quite innocent. Now, Raphael, like all Renaissance artists, ignored historical accuracy. His Mary is more high-born Italian noblewoman than Jewish peasant girl. The real Mary could only have dreamed of those clothes. And while her jewels are few, what Mary is wearing here, no peasant woman or teenager could ever have worn. Accuracy here was traded for eye appeal. Of course, if you follow art, that's not the first time that's happened, nor will it be the last. All right, move on to a third selection here. This is the flight to Egypt, captured by Vittorio Capozio. Again, another Italian. He painted about the same time as Lotto. And instead of Bethlehem, he is recalling for us the journey to Egypt. You'll remember this from Matthew 2. After the wise men left, the angels appeared to Joseph in a dream and told him he needed to flee to Egypt because there was a king, a mad king, jealous king, coming after the child. And like many people from all generations in history, in all places, when your family is being persecuted, you flee. And so they fled to Egypt. Now, what makes this a little bit unusual is that the flight story is really not a common piece of illustration. It wasn't common. I can't remember anyone being before the 10th century. And even this one in the 1500s is highly unusual. Now, the artist again did not let the facts get in the way of an inspiring painting. You would imagine that in the biblical journey, any journey from Palestine to Egypt would involve brown, lots of brown. But here we have a lot of green. And oddly enough, this is reminiscent with the hills in the background and the river flowing through it. It's reminiscent of where the artist came from, Florence, Italy. Two more pieces. I think I have both of them here. All right. This is a more contemporary piece by Kelly Lattimore. In Greek Orthodox churches, you often see this halo around the head of the saintly figures. This style is called iconography. In this piece, the Holy Family is depicted as modern refugees, just as they fled from Herod. This family is fleeing as well. Our scripture does portray the Holy Family as refugees fleeing to Egypt for safety. And by the color of their skin and what looks like the rugged Arizona landscape, Kelly is reminding us that the Christian faith is not simply doctrine, it is also practice. Being a Christian is living ready to welcome and ready to care for the least of these. For the least of these bear the image of God. Look at their facial expressions too. And now for the final piece. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm getting a signal that says, please move this window away from the shared application. Your screen sharing is paused for some reason. Well, I'm going to have to stop sharing and tell you about this one. The final one, I think you can, well, I don't know if you can find it online or not. It's actually a stained glass piece from St. James Episcopal Church in Leesburg, Virginia. I don't know the artist's name, and I don't even know the date in which it was installed. And I wish I could show it to you because it holds all of these together, really. It's a stunning piece that provides a chance to sum up all that we've talked about. You are likely aware that the Quran, the Islamic scripture, cannot be translated into any language. You have to read it and remember it in Arabic. This brief tour of nativity art reveals how Christianity encourages us to translate and incorporate the Jesus story into our lives. I mean, these artists had no issue with Italian hillsides or jewelry. To them, Jesus was Italian. The artist has no issue in rendering the Holy Family as brown refugees looking for a new start because Jesus is Hispanic. And the work that I was going to show you from the stained glass window is a stained glass window with Madonna holding the baby Christ, and there are dogwoods blooming all around this woman. And the woman is wearing what you would think of as a 1700s wardrobe of a Southern aristocratic woman. So there's nothing wrong with Jesus being Southern. You see, one of the points of art should be to update and remind us, to bring the Jesus movement to life, to pull it into focus, and to remind us that God is actually with us, whether we're Hispanic or Italian or black or white. The Nativity should remind us that Christ is God's Emmanuel, God with us. Well, have a great day. Bye.